This video is sponsored by Opera GX. You want to show your friends your cool new gaming rig and all the cool stuff it's capable of, but suddenly, how embarrassing. Now you'll never be one of the gamers. Believe it or not though, the cause of this slowdown could be your web browser eating up all of your resources, which is just a little out of order if you ask me. Like, why does a web browser need all those resources? And that's a question answered by Opera GX, whose answer is simply, they don't need all those resources. In fact, with Opera GX's GX control panel, you can limit how much RAM, GPU, and bandwidth your browser eats up. And the results really do speak for themselves. And you can save on how many tabs you have open with the easily accessible sidebar, where you can access all of your social media outlets with just a touch of a button. Meaning that no, you don't need to keep a tab open for every single social media outlet you use. And it doesn't stop there with the GX player, where you can keep all of your favorite music streaming services in the one place. They got Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube Music, it's all there. Opera GX is also available on your mobile phone and can easily be connected to the desktop version. So all of your settings and your preferences can just be transferred straight over. Even if you're not a PC gamer, you can still benefit from Opera GX, as just being a little kinder to your GPU and your RAM can extend the lifespan of your computer. So I highly recommend it regardless of whether or not you're a gamer. So I'm gonna make it super easy for you. Here's a QR code for you to download Opera GX onto your mobile phone, and in the description below and pinned comment, there will be a link to where you can download Opera GX on your desktop device. I highly recommend it. Thanks again to Opera GX for sponsoring this video, and let's go ahead. The year is 2030. There is no such thing as an artist anymore. The existence of paintbrushes is a hotly debated topic, and Microsoft Paint is nothing more than an urban legend. For the creation of images is purely a robot's job. Welcome to the Artpocalypse. But what if I told you that human artists and robots could coexist?
Halt, human! Before you may proceed with the video, you need to be scanned to see if you have subscribed to the channel or not. If you wish to survive, subscribe to the channel now. Beep boop, scan successful. Don't forget to like the video on your way out. But remember, all of this content is made possible thanks to the great patrons, and if you would like to become one, you can hit the link in the description below to help Pop Overlord out. Enjoy the video.
So before I really get too stuck in the weeds with this subject, I just wanted to say that my perspective on the subject of AI art is limited purely to my understanding and education of the subject. So, if anything I say comes off to you as insensitive or flippant, please do politely correct me on it. I'm not out to start a fight with what I'm saying, but I understand that this subject is one that often elicits quite an emotional response. So I want you to know ahead of time, I hear you, I do read the comments, and I will be learning things from people in the comments. So let's make a discussion of it. The robots are coming. They're here for your jobs. They're here to steal your livelihoods. It sounds like some paranoid conspiracy theory, but that is actually a reality that artists could be facing. It feels like we're living in a day and age where technological advancement is rarely welcome. With the advent of cryptocurrency and NFTs, new ideas, new expenses, new frivolities, same old damage. Technological advancements often serve to automate processes, to eliminate the effort that humans must put in. And that is such a slippery slope that Pixar actually made a really good movie about it called WALL-E. You already know WALL-E, right? Have you seen WALL-E? WALL-E's a great movie. Hey, comment below if you like WALL-E. And the latest in this trend of automation is AI art. Art crafted by artificial intelligence. And at first glance, it's pretty impressive what these AIs can achieve. The idea that a human being didn't make this, that's pretty astonishing. And it's safe to say that people have taken notice. Did you know that a piece of AI art won the art competition at the Colorado State Fair? Did you know that Netflix are now using AI art in the animation process? I guess Marcus from Detroit Become Human really does have a career ahead of him in art. However, those silly, redundant, fleshy human artists are pretty upset about this. Those humans and their simple emotions. But you have to ask why. As mentioned earlier, in the 2022 Colorado State Fair annual art competition, Jason M. Allen won first prize for his entry, Theatre d'Opera Spatial. I probably massacred the pronunciation of that, but it is what it is. However, Jason M. Allen didn't paint this, or draw it, or even illustrate it. This piece here was created through prompts, using the AI midjourney, where competing artists actually, had a much more involved role in creating the art that they did. Much more of a manual process, if you like. So those humans that devoted hours of their lives to crafting their masterpieces were naturally pretty cheesed off when they found out that the winner of this competition was fully automated. On January 31st of 2023, Netflix launches Dog and Boy, a new anime, noting that, and I quote, "As an experimental effort to help the anime industry, which has a labor shortage, we used image generation technology for the background images of all 3-minute video cuts." And the use of AI art in this project was met with a lot of backlash. Netflix claiming a labor shortage in the animation industry, all while having a reputation for cutting animated shows on its services, particularly in 2022. So Netflix, is this labor shortage in the room with you right now? I'm sure you could always employ one of the animators from that show that you cancelled that is now out of work, so the voices of artists worldwide are loud and clear. AI art is not welcome. But is this a justified stance, or purely an emotional reaction? Are artists around the world just acting like little wet wipes? Or do they have a point? Well, for starters, regarding the Netflix project, background artists could have been hired and paid to create the backgrounds for Dog and Boy, but that job was taken by an AI instead. So this labor shortage of which you speak, Netflix, is one that you created and continue to perpetuate. So yeah, the backlash against Netflix, absolutely justified. Dog on them all you want. And listen, I don't even know where to begin when it comes to the subject of the Colorado State Fair annual art competition being won by an AI piece competing against human-made artwork. But the bigger impact is the one on the art economy. If more potential clients choose to use AI art over actual artists, there will definitely be a work shortage, but feeling the brunt of that shortage will be the artists. But okay, surely these prospective clients care. Surely they'd like to collaborate with artists, right? Well, prospective clients aren't always entirely educated or clued into the process behind creating art or the people behind it, or the difference made by the human touch. While some clients may take a firm stance on supporting artists, it's more than likely a minority. Heck, even multi-billion-dollar corporations will seek out ways to save cash here and there. No more labor costs for artists, happy days, money saved. I often hear people paranoid about the self-service checkouts you see at stores. Those self-service points exist in the place of people that could have been hired and paid. Now that's one thing, but nobody wants to work in retail. Why? It sucks. Missed out on a retail opportunity? You missed out on minimum wage and chronic headaches. A career in art, on the other hand, is often an aspiration, with artists having to market themselves to numerous clients commonly on a freelance basis. Just finding work is work in of itself. But why pay an artist when an AI can generate the images you need completely free? Need new logos or visual assets made for your website? Want to win a hefty cash prize in an art competition? All by typing in some specific prompts? Not a single brushstroke needed? Have some restraint. The outcome? Art becomes a dying, well, art, if you like. And art was never an easy career path. Now it could be extinct, all because corporations and clients have been given a new means to cut costs. An AI doesn't need to pay for food and rent, and an AI can't have kids, at least not yet anyway. An AI doesn't need to provide for anyone, not even itself. I don't think AI is a sentient. won't rule it out, but I don't think they are. But it gets worse. See, when you think AI art, you tend to think of a lovable little robot painting a picture on a canvas, but that's not really what is happening. See, AI art isn't necessarily brand new artwork generated out of thin air. AIs require training data, and that data comes in the form of images. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't know exactly how this works, but I do have the general gist. From what I understand, AIs generally fulfill their prompts by scouring database upon database for images that can be repurposed. It's effectively a highly elaborate photo bash. You might not always be able to tell, but the images don't just materialize out of nothing. This means that other people's images are cannibalized for that image you just used on your website, a website that may well be monetized. So if everyone started using AI art, think art theft, but on a global scale, and the artists are not only robbed of their art, but their income. So, with apologies to the artists who non-consensually contributed to the works featured in this video, you also can't truly know whose works are included in your fresh new piece. There could be some shocking images hidden within your Robo-Lisa. This is a nice picture, but what if I told you that this pixel here was painted by Hitler? I mean, okay, that like, I don't have evidence of that in this case, but like, that is generally how this works. This one image here is the fruit of 1,000 instances of plagiarism. And it gets worse yet, as AIs can be prompted to generate art in a specific artist's style. Imposter syndrome much? This makes artists come across as even more replaceable. AI art is a complete mess of ethics, morals, and copyright law. So, do I personally think that AI art needs to sod off back to Mars? Do I truly believe that the artpocalypse is the only thing that can come from the advent of the AI artist? No, I actually don't. The argument goes that AI art is not art. Now, obviously that's a subjective sentiment. You could say that there's artistry in the engineering behind the AIs that can generate this artwork, but I personally would say I kind of agree with the sentiment that AI art is not art. Not in isolation, not in of itself. But again, that is subjective, but to me, like, art needs purpose, and while an AI can generate an image, it can't necessarily give it purpose and meaning. Art must typically come from a place of living. Would I say it's a purely human thing? No. Why? Because have you ever seen a spider web? That is art right there. We got a little Vincent van Gogh over here. There's also the emotions and feelings inspired by real art, which I can't say is replicated with AI art. The first time I saw AI art, I was kinda impressed, but since then it's definitely lost its X factor now. It's effectively a party trick, and it's a trick that's nowhere near as impactful on repeat viewings. It feels more like a novelty than anything else. So no, I don't believe that AI art is art. However, I do believe that art can be created with AI art. Yes, I am now going to talk about what I consider to be the upside to AI art, the good future, if you will. AI art can help individuals bring their passion projects to life. Say you want to write for a film or a comic book or a visual medium, but you don't have the money to pay an artist. AI art can offer an avenue for you to bring your idea to life in a visual form. An AI could be used to create animatics for a short animation, film, or motion comic. Now, yes, the argument can still be made that a real artist missed out on a payment and a commission, but as I said, that client could never have afforded your work in the first place, so nothing really changes. Take AI art out of the equation, and you're still not getting paid by that individual with no cash, but the difference is that that guy now has no means of bringing their passion project to life. What that guy may have created might have been art in a visual medium, but now it just doesn't exist. And what we have is less art in the world. So, AI art could make creativity more affordable and accessible for people that otherwise cannot afford to pay artists. Sure, I've heard the counter-argument of learn to draw yourself, and yes, I'd fully endorse that as the better way. There's always time to learn a new skill, but there are some folks who just cannot do it. It could be down to a disability. It could be down to it just not being in their DNA. Some people just can't draw no matter how hard they try. And then I guess time is also a factor. I know that contradicts something I said just a minute ago, but say you're working 40 hours a week and you have a social life on top of that, other responsibilities, you're not necessarily going to get the time to learn to draw or necessarily draw everything yourself. But you can't afford an artist to do it, so AI art is really the only avenue. But also, okay, all sensible justifications aside, let's just take a step back and say, this is really cool. The fact that an AI can do this is cool. It's futuristic. It's effectively a robot doing a heavy Photoshop job, and that's just an awesome concept in isolation. That is some Futurama stuff right there. Now, I know that there's going to be some of you out there that are justifiably a little uneasy with what I just said there, and that's fair. There's no denying that there are major obstacles, both moral and legal, to overcome with AI art, as I say. I understand why human artists are unhappy about this new cybernetic threat. I think the key word here, though, is moderation. There is a way to make things right. For starters, there is no way in hell an AI art piece should be able to compete with human art. It is completely unfair on real artists who slaved away on their works, put blood, sweat, and tears into it, for an AI art piece to beat them. And think how demoralizing that is as well. No, AI art should not deprive real artists of work and commission. AI art should not deride from other people's intellectual property either. These are the problems that need to be fixed, but how do you fix them? Well, here's my proposition. Accessibility is the greatest impact of AI art. The idea that a hobbyist can use it to visualize their ideas is really nice. I think a tool like that could be very welcome. So what I'm thinking is all AI art tools should be open source and accessible to the general public without payment, subscription, or fee. However, here come the caveats, the moderations if you will. The AIs that generate the artwork should come with their own licensing policy that forbids any industrial or for-profit use of the artwork generated. This would mean that no, Netflix cannot use AIs to create backgrounds for their animes. This means that the industry remains open to artists, however you keep that level of accessibility. I would also say that, yeah, for definite, AI art should not be considered in competitions. Either that or it should be in its own category, with the prize being non-monetary. Once again, AI art should be for non-profit use only. But then we come to the question of copyright. AI art effectively photo-bashing work that is the property of other artists. How do we tackle that? Well, I think that these AIs should only take images from their own databases. These would be images voluntarily sent in to train the AIs, so consenting artists and photographers create the databases for the AIs. This could theoretically lead to the employment of artists to work for the AI art companies, but given that the databases are now limited to just the agreed artworks, it means that the AI art generators are less exploitable. They're a bit more limited in what they can and can't generate, leaving more gaps in the market for artists. Now, here's another way I think artists could get paid. So, these AIs could run ads, monetize, so they get a bit of income. I said this was all for non-profit, but let's say that the AIs themselves can be monetized. I'm moving the goalpost, I don't care, it's my video, shut up. That money can be reinvested both into the artist economy, but also back into the AI itself. So you could make it so that every artist that submits gets paid a little for every piece they submit. No, it wouldn't be as much as a commission or a job, but it's a guarantee of money. Like stock photography websites might pay for your photographs, etc., AIs could offer small payments in exchange for your submissions. Now, there is the question of what if someone submits artwork that isn't their own, and yes, that can still happen, but at the end of the day, I think that is just a problem in general. I don't think that's like an AI art specific problem. I mean, like, look at the vendor halls at Comic-Con. Half the time they're selling t-shirts and blankets with pictures they found on DeviantArt, and those things should be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. I think when it comes to artwork, copyright should be a serious matter. With my ideas though, AI art would become purely a device for hobbyists, those who are unable to afford to commission a real human artist. That resource remains readily available. However, the images generated would be limited to the resources supplied by real human artists, who have opportunities to get paid for their submissions. This would also open more gaps in the market for real artists. I don't believe that AI art should be the future of art, but I do believe that there is a space for it to have its own future. So with that in mind, I do not think that AI art is an intrinsically bad thing. I don't think it has to take artists' jobs or livelihoods or even purpose. Also, just full stop, you can't replicate the human touch. And apparently AI art also has a massive problem with fingers, which is fair because I too have trouble drawing fingers. Now, I'm definitely not claiming that I've cracked the code on how to make AI art work. You have to remember, and this will be obvious to many, I'm ultimately a sparkly-eyed idealist. There are probably a million reasons why what I've pitched to make AI art isn't possible, and reason number one being capitalism in the industry. Can we trust the owners of AI programs to have a little moral integrity? Only draw from the images submitted to them. Why would they want to produce a more limited product when they could produce anything and sell to big name companies like Netflix? And why would Netflix not want to take a cheaper product generated by an AI, knowing that it can achieve literally anything? Netflix have made it clear that they do not care about artists, particularly with their callous attitude towards their animated shows. Now, if I were an AI engineer, I also understand that you kind of want to reach for the stars, you know, make your AI as good as it can be. Don't limit what it can do. I think you'd need some new laws and legislations in place to protect the artist's economy. Maybe laws that prohibit companies like Netflix from using AI artwork, or maybe a law that requires AI art to use only its own databases. Which, yeah, you would think would be a legal copyright nightmare. However, it might fall under fair use. I'm not 100% sure, but I believe fair use is when something is considered transformative, and I guess a photo bash would probably come under that fair use category. And just remember that the only time fair use doesn't protect you is when you're on YouTube. Haha, fine website you're running here, Susan. But can we rely on the politicians and the governments to put in place these laws and legislations? I don't think so. In fact, definitely not. I'm from the UK, and our government have made it pretty damn clear, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, that they don't give a damn about the art industry, the arts, or artists. I guess what I'm trying to say is, I don't think that AI art is intrinsically bad. I think there is a future for AI art. I just don't think it should be the future of art. I think good things can be achieved with AI art. I think, like any tool, it can be used for vice and it can be used for virtue. So, no, I don't really take issue with our AI friends. It's humans that I don't trust. I don't trust humans to moderate it. I don't trust humans to maintain a good, survivable artist economy. I don't trust humans to see the value in real human collaboration. Bottom line, I just don't trust humans to be kind to one another, and I think that is the real problem with AI art. Otherwise, there could be a really nice future where it just slots in perfectly. Real shame that. So those are my views on AI art and the positive future I think it could have, and definitely should have, but likely won't have. What do you guys think? Are you for, against, or somewhere in between when it comes to AI art? Does anything I've said make sense? I do refer to myself as a toilet brain for a reason. So comment below and discuss. Let's make this a nice open forum thing. And yeah, I'm looking forward to what you folks have to say. With all that being said, I think that's enough for today. You may leave. I say, you've made it to the end of the video! Congrats! No, but seriously, thanks a bunch for watching. And just now, I'll be extending a special thanks to the patrons in the $10 tier, who are Adam Myers, Ken K, Legendary Ray Ray, Mr. SP, Sergio, That Jordo, and Where's Arnold? What an amazing and generous bunch of people. Thank you guys so much for your support. And if you want to join the ranks of these amazing people right here, the link to my Patreon is in the description below. Guys, these are not the easiest times in the world financially, so every little bit you folks are donating is doing wonders. I really would love to be able to do YouTube as a proper fully fledged career someday. It might just be a pipe dream, but maybe you guys can prove some people wrong. But of course, if donations aren't your thing, then, well, it means plenty to me that you just hit that cute little subscribe button over there. I didn't mean hit that way. Well, that's me done for the day. Thanks a whole bunch for your support, and have a fantastic day. I'm gonna see you so soon.